Hey everybody, it is Tracy Chen and I am back with another episode. Today we're going to talk about the 491 visa in Victoria and what has been happening over the last kind of 10 months since they opened. Now, I can't remember exactly when they opened. I think I have to scroll back to my TikTok because I did announce it on the day, but maybe like August, I think, and it closed on the 5th of May. So it was open for about, is it like 10 months, 8 months, 9 months? I'll do the math soon. 9 months. I think it was open for about 9 and a bit months this year. The funny thing is this year, there was actually less seats for the 491 visa, way less compared to the 190. So what happened was everybody saw that. And so everybody went for the 190. So then there were actually less competition for the 491 visa. So a lot of our clients who apply for the 491 visa were pretty much selected pretty quickly, depending on how good their profile is. So as you know, the 491 visa is a temporary visa. It is called a provisional visa, so provisional to permanent residency. Once you are selected and granted for the visa, you get the visa for 5 years. Then you have to live and work in regional Australia for at least 3 years. You have to make the minimum income threshold, and then after 3 years, you will be eligible to apply for permanent residency under the Skilled Regional 191 visa stream. So I know it takes a little longer, there's a bit of uncertainty here and there, but depending on how competitive your profile is, sometimes this might be the right visa for you. You've really got to consider your options. I know ideally a lot of people want the 189 or 190, but it's a little bit competitive because everybody's going for it. So depending on some profiles, when I do review these applications for clients, I do give them the best strategy forward. You know, some clients I say, yep, I really think that you can get the 190 visa, so let's just wait for that. There's some clients, we waited for the whole financial year and they were like, oh, should we just change to the 491? I said, no, let's just wait. And they just got selected. So it's really, really exciting. So yeah, it depends on, how we view the file, but sometimes if we think your profile is more suited for 491, we will tell you. And if you get the 491 visa faster, then, it's not a bad kind of trade-off, I think. Living in regional Victoria is not that bad. There are some places that are very regional, but then there also isn't. For example, Geelong, Pakenham, those places are less than an hour away. Well, Geelong is an hour, Pakenham is less than an hour. So I don't think it's too bad, and there is still job opportunities there. So first of all, to be selected for the 491 visa in Victoria, you must have a eligible skills assessment. There's no specific occupation list for Victoria. They just follow what is in the legislation, the instrument. So if you have an occupation that's eligible for the 491 visa in general, you are eligible to lodge an application for the 491 in Victoria. In Victoria, to lodge a 491, you must be living there, and to have a competitive application, you can claim your salary, but to claim your salary, you must be working a skill level 1, 2, or 3 job. So for example, if you're an accountant working as a chef, you could apply for 491. And a lot of our applicants who had that kind of profile, who had your 65, 70 points, they would apply for the 491 visa and be selected. So definitely possible there. You would lodge an expression of interest and then a registration of interest. And if you are successful, you'll be pre-invited for the visa. Then you'll need to lodge your nomination application. Now, during the nomination application, they do check that everything you claimed in the ROI or the EOI is correct. So if there is any discrepancies there, they can still refuse your visa. So be very, very careful. It has to be correct, especially with salary as well. If you claimed your salary incorrectly, you can still get a refusal of the nomination. So if you do get invited for the visa, it doesn't necessarily 100% mean you're going to be granted the visa. Same if you're nominated. If you get past the pre-invitation stage and you're also nominated for the visa, it doesn't mean you're going to get the visa grant. Everything in the visa also still has to be correct because the departments still do their own checks. So be very careful for that. Now, 491 also had their priority occupation list and their priority sectors. So we found that people who are working and had skills assessment in those priority sectors were invited very quickly. From memory, I think hospitality was on there. Obviously, healthcare and teaching are always in demand, but they were eligible for 190. So why would you apply for the 190? Definitely apply for the 491 unless you couldn't score enough points. It was open to onshore and offshore applicants. So we saw people people onshore and offshore get invited too. So if you're onshore, you must be living in Victoria. If you're offshore, you must be living offshore. You can't be, have a visa for Australia and just applying as an offshore candidate or something like that. So I guess there was a lot less action this year for the 491, mainly because there was less seats for it. But moving into the new financial year, if you are someone who's living in, regional, at the beginning of this financial year, to be eligible for the 491, you must have been living in regional Victoria and you must be working a skill level 1, 2 or 3 job to be eligible, which is completely different to the 190. It was very, very weird actually. But then towards the end of the financial year, they actually relaxed all those requirements. So you could be living in Melbourne, you can still apply for the 491 and there was no requirement to be working in a skill level 1, 2 or 3 job. As long as you were living in Victoria as an onshore applicant, you could apply for the 491. So if you knew your occupation was not that competitive, then a lot of our clients did choose to switch to the 491 visa. Well, actually, no, not a lot, just a couple. Most people wanted to go for the 190. So you can imagine the competition there. We lodged so many applications for Victoria this financial year. I don't know, probably almost 1,000, I'd say. A lot. Just within our little firm. Well, I don't know if you call it little. We are a team of almost 50 people now. So for you, if you're looking to apply for this in the new financial year, now is definitely the time to get your application ready, get your skills assessment done, get your English done, and make sure you are living in Victoria if you want to apply onshore. If you're living offshore, you can still absolutely prepare now. And then as soon as the states open up, you can apply. Well, actually with offshore candidates, it was actually good last financial year because being an offshore candidate, you can apply to more states. Whereas this financial year for onshore, normally the states would only accept you as an onshore candidate if you're living in that state. You couldn't apply to multiple states. But our offshore candidates, we could apply in Victoria, we could apply in New South Wales, we could apply in South Australia. There was just so many options. So it was really cool. If there's any specific topics you want me to talk about and definitely summarize, because we've had a very exciting financial year, lots of things have happened, just drop it in the comments below and I'll definitely get around to making videos about them. I hope that was helpful. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you guys in the next video.